I'm gonna show you the best way to save a ton of money on ammo, along with a really good way to train at home. As you saw there, this is a forced reset trigger where you're able to get great dry fire reps on your personal rifle. Let's get right into the first 30-second breakdown. That's where in the first 30 seconds, give or take, I give you guys my exact thoughts on this product before we get into the full review. That way you can stop watching because now you know exactly what I think about the product, or you can continue watching and find out why I say those things in greater detail, and it does help out with the YouTube algorithm, which I appreciate. So this is the Mantis Blackbeard X, and this is the predecessor to just the Mantis Blackbeard. It allows you to have a longer magazine, which I think is more realistic and looks nicer, and it has the added addition of the motion-based analysis that allows you to be able to use their app to see what your pre-shot movements are, what your after-shot movements are, and where that shot landed. In my opinion, this is one of the best ways to dry fire train because of the benefit of you're able to use your rifle with your own accessories along with your trigger. It's a very easy install. You just pop your back pin, pull out the charging handle and bolt carrier, slide this one in, and then you take the magazine, and then it resets your trigger, and you should have up to 50,000 rounds or trigger pulls, is what they say on their website. I can assure you, I did not count them, so I could not tell you exactly. 4,728 triggers. No, I did not count them, but in my experience, it's been a lot. I mean, I go crazy with this thing and have fun with it, so I can't tell you exactly how many, but their website does say 50,000. Price-wise, you're looking at $300 to $350 for the Blackbeard X, depending on what laser you use, red, green, IR, or no laser, and then you're looking at $200 to $250 for the regular Blackbeard, and that one does not have the motion-based analysis. Now let's get into my relationship with Mantis. They did send me this product. I did not spend my own money on it, and this video is brought to you by them. Now let's get into the full video and go over my exact thoughts on this in more detail and be able to give you some more information about this setup and if it's right for you. Let's just touch on a little more detail about dry firing and why this is superior. So dry firing is a great way to train at home when you can't go to the range because of weather or because you just don't have enough money for ammo because it's expensive to do. Up until the time that this device was available, you used to just have to charge your firearm or rack the slide of your handgun, and then you would click, and then you have to rack it again to get that reset to go back at it. Now, what's great about that is you're able to get that trigger pull, and you're able to use your sight alignment and see what happens when you press the trigger and how much movement is there. There's a lot of value in that, but there's much more value in this system because you don't have to break sight alignment and all those things and break your grip and re-rack your gun to get that reset. And then you didn't actually pull a full trigger pull because you just pulled back and then you let go, racked it, and then did it again, or you racked it and then let the reset come back. And that can create some bad habits if you continue to do that without following up with live fire. With this, it creates a lot less bad habits because you don't have to break that grip. You shoot the gun, I now don't have to release my hand, charge the gun, go back, acquire my sights again, and reshoot. You get to acquire sights more, which is cool, but with this, I'm able to shoot each time. I can transition if I want to. I can shoot slow, or I can shoot fast. You can get far more reps in, which allows you to get more training in a shorter period of time. Now, as always, I highly recommend you always follow up this training with live fire. Go out to the range and make sure you are checking all your training and dry fire training out of the range and verifying you're not creating any bad habits, because it's very easy to come in here without recoil and shoot and be like, oh my goodness, I'm John Wick. Like, I'm amazing. I can shoot so well. Till you actually go out at the range and then you realize, okay, maybe I created some bad habits, or now I need to really work on recoil management and be able to get my sights back on target. So there's still a gap between real fire and dry fire, but this just brought the gap a lot closer, being able to have that manipulation. Now, unfortunately, we can't have the recoil and the bang and all the other things associated with that yet. Maybe Mantis will come up with that next, because they've already created a pretty sweet product with this one, and they're already improving with the Blackbeard X. Who knows what they'll come out with next, but there is something to say to that explosion of that coming out of the gun. There is a reaction to that you take into effect, especially with newer shooters. So you can't completely take away live fire training with this, but this is the closest that I have seen and used personally to as real as it's gonna get. Now, speaking of new shooters, this is something I use to teach people that have never used firearms before. That way they're able to manipulate the firearm. They're able to see what happens when they press the trigger and feel that reset and look down the sights and acquire a target and press the trigger and do those things all at once without having the explosion and the gun going off, because that sometimes can scare people. Now, understand, for people that have shot guns a long time, you might think that's kind of goofy. Why would they be scared of the gun? But it is an explosion happening in your hand. There's an explosion happening right by your face. And that is a lot of times why people have that flinch effect or miss, because it's your natural body's reaction to something like that happening. It's something that takes a lot of training and practice to try to curb that reaction. So currently this is available for the SIG MPX and the AR-15. They have plans on making it for the AR-10, AK-47, SCAR, and multiple other platforms as well. Battery life, they say 50,000 trigger pulls. I've not tested that personally and counted to 50,000, but I would say just expect that you're gonna get a little less than that. A little helpful trick is whenever you go to store this, if you're gonna leave this in your gun, always remove the magazine or the battery pack and allow that to be separate, because if it has that connection, it could draw some battery life and it'll just have a little less battery life than you would want. So pull that out and store them separately if you're gonna do that. Now, to touch a little bit more on the training aspect, for those of you that are in law enforcement, SWAT, military, this is a very cool aid that I think that you guys can use a lot, especially when you're practicing entries or what you would normally use simunition for, or airsoft guns. You can use this as well. So we do a lot of training in different buildings and houses. A lot of them are like, well, we really don't want you shooting sims off and we don't want you shooting airsoft and having BBs everywhere. So they'll be like, you know, you can use our building and search through it just so you can get that movement, but we really don't want you shooting things into those buildings. This allows you to kind of bridge that gap a little bit more. You can put these in your guys' as rifles to allow them to be able to still use their guns, still be able to go towards a target and shoot if they have to, and get all the reset and still feeling. You don't get the fact that you're gonna get shot back like a simunition round does. That's another form of training that unfortunately is just extremely expensive and not a lot of agencies have access to. But this is something you can buy that is fairly inexpensive and you can continue to use over and over and over. So as that time goes on, the value gets higher because you're not spending on ammo or CO2 cartridges or BBs to be able to continue to fill them. So there's a really good value in that sense. And my agency is looking at ordering some of these as well for our SWAT team to be able to go out and train with. And it doesn't have to just be a SWAT or law enforcement or military. You can use this in your own house to be able to search your house or go through and clear it. I'm sure a lot of you are like me and that like to do that and practice and train. And if you're like me and do that, you can do it in your own house and be able to use your own home defense gun, which is pretty cool. Now let's touch on the app. So this comes with that motion sensing technology, which is pretty cool and allows you to have another level of training. So it just be able to show you where your movements are, maybe to be able to see where some faults you have or maybe what you need to improve on. So you can use a timer, your par times, and you can do a lot of settings on the app, which is just an added benefit to the system to allow you to have more value to the product. Now, with that being said, I find more value in this system alone. The forced reset trigger is more value to me than the app. The app's cool. It's a lot of fun. You can compete with yourself or your friends, and that's a cool aspect to it. But for the actual training purpose, I find way more value in the forced reset trigger alone. So you can go ahead and buy just the Mantis if you want to. It's a $100 difference, and then you can just get the forced reset trigger, or you can go ahead and get that higher one if you want to and have that motion option. And I think it's cool that they allow you to have options between the two if you want to spend a little less, or if you want to spend more, you can get more information with that app, which it is a pretty sweet app if you break it down. Now to connect this to your phone and app, you're just gonna turn your phone on Bluetooth. You're gonna press this button on the side. It's gonna start blinking blue and it'll connect to your phone, and then you can download the app and be able to run through all the drills and scenarios and see all the analytics that you're able to break down. So if you're a guy that's like really in analytics and numbers and graphs and everything, you're gonna love the app because they have a lot of information for you to go through. All in all, I think the system is a lot of value for the price, and there's a lot of information that you can get through the system in the app, and it is pretty cool what they're coming out with, and I'm really excited to see what they come out in the future, especially when they get different calibers and rifles. Hope this video is able to help you make a better purchase decision. That is always my goal, is to be able to help you decide yes or no, this is the product for you or not, based off the things that I say. I just give you guys my opinion, and then from there you can make your decision. Other than that, let's go over the channel sponsors and the ones that support me and the things I do here. Brownells, Howitzer, and Tecto Knives. Brownells has been a massive supporter of the channel and everything I do here. A lot of us behind me is because of them, and I can't thank them enough. You can go to my website. There's a link and discount codes all on there for these websites as well that you can use. Howitzer is a clothing brand that donates 5% of proceeds to charity, and they donate a ton of money, and they have their own Tactical Advisor t-shirt, which is really cool, and you can help support the channel that way. And the Tecto Knives makes fantastic knives. I've been using them daily for about 7-8 months now, and they've been great. I really like the A5 Spry. That is my favorite, but I've been trying some of their newer stuff and been really enjoying them, and the little Badger one is a lot of fun as well. And you can use code TA10, save 10% along with free shipping there, and get your guys some cool knives in for a little bit of a discount. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all.